Okay. So before we begin, let's read this anchor chart because this is very easy. This is all our steps all in one place. What is step 1? Carla, what does it say for step 1?
Find the rounded place and circle it.
Good. So we have round 15,000. You don't have to write this because this is on your anchor chart, but we're going to go through it really quick. So you can see it's exactly the same as what's in the book. It just may use slightly different words. But all the important words are exactly the same. They just might be in a different order or they might add a word here or there. So we are rounding 15,273 to the hundredths place. Carla told us that step 1 was what? Carla?
Find the rounded place and circle it.
So we know we're rounding to the hundredths. So in this number, we need to find the hundredths place and circle it. Ones, tens, hundredths. We have a 2. Thank you, Carla. What is step 2? Just read the first sentence. Michaela. The second sentence is kind of silly, but whatever. Just read the first.
Look at the digit next door to the right and underline it.
Okay? So we have our circle digit. We're going to look at the place to the right and underline it. The next sentence is kind of silly. It says she's the boss. Because which digit is it that tells us exactly what to do with our circle digit? Is it the underline digit that tells us what to do? Or is it the circle digit that tells us what to do? Does the underline digit tell us what to do? Or does the circle digit tell us what to do when we're rounding? Smith?
The underlined digit.
The underline digit. And if you work at a job and you have a boss, who tells you what to do? Class?
The boss.
Your boss. So your underline digit is your boss. Your boss, the underline digit, tells you what to do with your circle digit. Thank you, Michaela. So, step 3, if you were humming, stop. Zari, read step 3.
Step 3. Is the underlined digit 4 or less, 5 or more?
So, we're thinking, is the boss 5 or more? Or is it 4 or less? Zari, if it's less than or equal to 4, that means it's 4 or less. What do?
You leave it alone. Let it rest.
So you let it rest, you leave it alone, or you add 0. But what if the boss is greater than or equal to 5? That means 5 or more, Zari.
You would add one to the one that you circled.
Good. I would add 1. If the boss is 5 or more, I would add 1 to the circle digit. Well, Zari, in this case, is our boss, our underlined digit, less than or equal to 4? That means 4 or less. Or greater than or equal to 5? That means 5 or more.
It's less.
It's
so you just
4
let it
or
rest.
less. So that means, what do we do to the circle digit?
You let it rest.
I let it rest, which means I do what? I
cut
keep
off?
it
You put that as a 2.
So I'm going to bring it down. If I had a line, I would leave a little space. You'll see why. Okay, thank you, Zari. So step 3 tells us our circle digit stays the same. Kingston, what does step 4 say? Loud.
Rewrite the numbers. Keep all the digits 4 to the left of the circle. Digit the same.
So that's like step 5. Everything before the circle digit stays the same. Kingston, do we have digits before our circle digit? What do we have, Kingston? What digits?
One. 15.
What digits? 15 is a number. What digits?
1
1
and 5.
and 5. They're before the circle digit, so what do we do with them?
Leave them alone.
Leave them alone. We keep them the same. We bring them down. They don't change. Nothing. Now, what does the next part of step 4 say?
Plus 1 or plus 0 to the circle digit.
Well, we already did that in step 3. So last little bit that we have to do.
Change the boss. Underline digit.
Keep going. You're good.
And all the others after to it, and all the others after it to the 0.
You don't have to read that last sentence. It's just silly. So that means the boss and any other digits after the circle digits turn into zeros. How many digits do we have after the circle digit, Kingston?
2.
So how many digits are we going to have at the end of our number?
2.
How many zeros? I'm sorry.
2.
2. And now we're done. So 15,233 round to the nearest hundredth is 15,200. Okay, now this is where you go to your separate sheet of paper, because we're going to do some problems. Go ahead and get out your math book and let's look at the steps on example 2. I just like the way they're worded better. I think I'm going to stop using this one, and I'm going to stop using this one and create my own that uses the exact same words as our math book. So I decided, I changed my mind. Look at the steps in your math book on page, I think it's page 40.
38.
Sorry, what is it?
38.
Just kidding, 38, not this one. Now I'm going to show you, before we begin, I'm going to show you how to show work on a separate sheet of paper. If this comes off. Okay, cool.
It's been on there for a while.
Well, I guess I could have left that up there because... Your heading stays the same. Okay, so when I'm on my paper, oh yes, that's it, sorry. You're looking at page 38 with the steps to rounding. Now, before you start, on your separate sheet of paper, when you use that to solve math problems, you do not write over top of the lines. Each line, you fit your letters and your numbers so that they fit on the line. So if I'm doing number 1, and I'll write this bigger in a minute, but number 1 would look like this. 49,726, and we are rounding to the hundreds. So do you see how I kept everything on one line? Oops. Do you see how everything was kept on one line? And I'm just lining it up. When I do number 2, I would do it down here. I'm not doing little bubbles all over the place. I'm not doing it crooked or anything like that. It's just going straight across and taking up one line. So those of you at home, this is what it should look like. You can go ahead and write number 1. Those of you at school, you can go ahead and do the same. And I will do it bigger on the board. So you're taking one line and you're going straight across. Make sure that you are being neat so that it's, when you do this on your homework, if you have to do it on a separate sheet on your homework, you know exactly how to do it. And I can easily find your work so that when I'm grading, I know exactly where to look. Yes, Colin.
So if we use a separate sheet of paper, do we staple it to our homework?
Yes, but we're probably not going to be able to. If you have a stapler at home, then yes.
I do.
but if not, you'll just stack it the correct way, which I'll tell you when we actually have to use one. And then, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side until I'm ready to show you how to write number 2. Actually, here, I'll show you how to write your answers. But I'm going to do this big on the board so that the girls at home can see easily. So we know number 1, oops, that was a weird one. Number 1, we only have 5 problems to do until you're ready to do independent practice. We know it's 49,726, and we're rounding it to the hundredths place. So, using the steps from your book, Zadie, what is step 1? So everybody should be looking at your book and following along. Zadie, what's step 1?
Circle the digit in the place to be rounded.
So in this number, which digit am I circling? We can start on this side, ones. We're figuring out what plate. We're trying to get to the hundredths. So name the places as I point to them, Zadie.
Ones, tens, hundreds.
So which digit do I need to circle?
The 7.
The 7. Okay, done with step 1. Step 2.
Underline the digit to the right of the place being rounded.
So I circled that 7 in the hundredths place. What do I need to underline? What digit do I need to underline?
The 2.
And just for fun, tell me what place that's in.
The tens.
Good. For fun and practice, you're going to tell me what digit the place you underlined is in. Okay, Zadie, we're done with step 2. Step 3.
If the underlined digit is 4 less, do not change the circled digit.
Carla, please don't play with the camera.
If the underlined digit is 5 or greater, add 1 to the circled digit.
Okay, we have a 2 underlined. So what does that mean about our circled digit? What does that mean about our circled digit? We have a 2 underlined. Is that 5 or more or 4 or less?
4 or less.
So what do we do to our circled digit?
Leave it alone.
Look at your steps and answer with confidence.
Leave it alone.
We leave it alone. So I'm going to come down to my line. I'm going to save some space at the beginning, just in case I need to put digits there. And I'm going to keep my circle digit the same. Okay, now Zadie, step 4.
Replace all the digits after the circled digit with zeros.
How many digits do I have after the circled digit? Does that include the circled digit, Zadie?
No.
No. Everything that comes after, how many digits is that?
2.
So how many zeros are going to be at the end of my number?
2.
2. Are we done?
No.
No. We always check for step number 5. And Zadie, what is step 5?
Any digit before the circled digit stays the same.
Do I have any digits before the circled digit?
Yes.
Yes. What are they?
9 and 4.
Tell me in order from
4 and 9.
4 and 9. Do I do anything to them?
Yes.
What do I do to them?
Put them on the line.
Well, but do I change them in any way?
No.
No, I just bring them down, bring them over, whatever. Do not tell me add them to the number, because then I'm going to think, oh, I add 700 plus 4 plus 9. Is that what I do? No. Take that out of your vocabulary unless you are actually adding. You put them in front of the number. Okay, Zadie, now I need to check for commas. I put a comma every how many digits?
3.
3. 1, 2, 3, comma. 1, 2, I don't have a third, I'm fine. So that means 49,726 rounded to the nearest hundred is what, Zadie?
94,000.
No. Try again. You just flipped them.
49,700.
Very good. So on my work, well, if this was like my separate sheet of paper, I would circle that digit, underline, and then I'm going to skip one line, or you probably don't have to skip one line, but it might help, and then I'm going to follow the steps. So this is what it would look like on your separate sheet of paper. Is that how you have it?
This is how I have it.
If you have it over here, I guess that's okay. If you have it over here to the side, that's okay, as long as you stayed all in one line. Zari, looks good?
I didn't have to do that.
I did it.
Nobody should be calling out. Let's see. Smith looks good. Yes, if you have it to the side, that's okay. Okay, Carla, you good? You can either put it underneath like this. I kind of like to put it underneath because then I can do step by step. I know I'm just bringing this down to the line, then I'm bringing these down to the line, then I'm changing these to zeros. But that's really up to you. As long as you follow the steps correctly, then you're good. Okay, so the way we would write number 2 is we 100% always skip a line because we're doing a new problem. And we write number 2 to the left of the pink line. And then we write our problem, which is 492,688. Oops. And we are rounding to the nearest 100,000. Thank you, Zari. Okay, when you're good, you've written the problem and you're ready to move on, you can put your thumbs up. Okay. So now we're going to solve. Number 2, we have 492,688. We're rounding it to the nearest 100,000. Colin, help me out. What is step 1? Read straight from your book.
Circle the digit in the place to be rounded.
So let's find the 100,000 place. We're going to name them until we get to the 100,000s.
Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000.
So which digit do I circle?
4.
4. Good. Step 2.
Underline the digit to the right of the place being rounded.
So which digit do I underline?
9.
And for fun and practice, what place is that 9 in?
10,000s.
Good. Now step 3, Colin.
If the underlined digit is 4 or less, do not change the circle digit. If the underlined digit is 5 or greater, add 1 to the circle digit.
So we have a 9. Is that 4 or less or 5 or greater?
4, 5 greater.
So what do we do to our circle digit?
We make that, we put 1 more to it.
So you can tell me we're adding because we're adding,
We're
right?
adding
What are we adding?
1,
So 4 becomes
5.
5. And I always want to give myself a little space just in case I need it for step 5. Okay, step 4. Our circle digit has become a 5, so now step 4.
Replace all digits after the circle digit with zeros.
How many digits do I have after the circle digit?
5.
5. So how many zeros are going to be at the end of my number?
5.
5. 1, 2, oh, let's wait till the end to do our comma. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Colin, are we done?
No.
What should we always check for?
Any numbers before
We should always check for step 5. Are we always going to have to do step 5, Colin?
No.
But should we always check for it?
Yes.
Yes. So step 5 says what?
Any digit before the circle digit stayed the same.
Do I have any digits before my circle digit? No. So do I have to worry about step 5?
Nope.
But it's a good thing I checked for it just in case?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, now I have to put my commas. A comma comes every how many digits?
3 numbers.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do I have to put it at the beginning of a
Nope.
word of a number?
No, because there's no more.
No. There's nothing in front, so I don't need, you would never start a number with a comma.
Yeah.
So that means, Cullen, that 492,688 rounded to the nearest 100,000 is
500,000.
500,000. So here's what it looks like on my paper. I've got my 100,000 underlined, my digit next to it, and then I have my new answer. Can everybody at home see well enough to see that I just have my new answer here? You don't have to see it up close because you can see it here. Then I'm going to skip one line always. Write number 3. You always skip lines between questions or problems or whatever. And number 3 is 4,768. And we're rounding to the nearest 10. So number 3, thank you girls at home. Number 3 is 4,768, and we're rounding to the nearest 10. I wouldn't necessarily pre-number because you never know if something's going to take more space. Okay, when you're done writing number 3, thumbs up. Sorry, Carla. Smith. I'm going to say girls at home because it's hard for you to tell that I'm nodding at you. And I will nod at kids at school. Okay. So now, number 3. We have 4,783, and we're rounding to the nearest 10. Everybody's going back in. Zari, what is step 1? Read it to me straight from your textbook.
My sheet of paper.
Oh, yeah.
Circle the digits in the place to be rounded.
Okay. We're rounding to the tens place, so Zari, hold on one second. Name the places until we get to the tens place. Smith, hold on one second.
4,000.
What is this place?
4,000.
Nope, we're always starting all the way on the right. We're just naming the places. So we always start with the
right.
well, what place is all the way to the right?
8.
What place, Zari? That's the location.
Ones.
Ones.
10s.
We're rounding to the 10, so that means what digit gets circled, Zari?
We circle the 6.
What digit is that? Oh, did I write? Okay,
In the
I see why you're doing that now. I wrote the wrong digit. So yes, it is what digit, Zari?
The 10s digit.
What digit is that? That's the place. Tens is the place. The digit is the symbol, which is a
6.
6. Good. Bailey, is that what you were trying to tell me?
There's also a 3 at the end and an 8 at the end there.
Smith, is that what you were trying to tell me? That I just wrote the wrong numbers?
No, I was going to ask you to repeat the number because there's a glare and I can't see the number.
Okay, it's the same one that we did for number 3. So 4,768. I just wrote the wrong thing. Carla, please don't play with the camera. 4,768. So Zari, you said step 1, circle the digit in the place to be rounded. The 6 was in the tens place. So now Zari, read step 2.
Step 2. Underline the digits to the right. Digit to the right
So what
of the
digit?
place being rounded.
So what digit is to the right, Zari?
The ones.
What digit, not
The
what place.
8.
What is it?
The 8.
And for fun and practice, what place is that 8 in? Place
The 1.
the ones. Good. Okay, Zari, step 3.
Step 3. If underlined digit is 4 or less, do not change the circle digit. If the underlined digit is 5 or greater, add 1 to the circle digit.
So we have an 8. Is that 5 or more or 4 or less?
5 or more.
So what do we do to the circle digit?
You add 1 to it.
So the 6 becomes a,
A 7.
and I'm going to put space in front of it just in case I need to do step 5. Now Zari, step 4. Carla, please keep the camera still. It's very distracting to me and the other girls on Zoom.
Step 4. Replace all the digits after the circle digit with zeros.
How many digits do we have after the circle digit, Zari?
1.
So how many zeros am I going to have at the end of my number?
1.
Good. Now, am I ever done after step 4?
No.
Because I should always do what?
See if you need to do step 5.
See if I need to do step 5. Even if you're like, I know I don't have to do step 5, still check because maybe you just didn't read the number correctly the first time. So Zari, what is step 5?
Step 5.
Carla, hang
Any
on for a minute.
Any digit before the circled digit stays the same.
Do I have any digits before the circle digit?
Yes.
What are they? Tell me the digits.
700.
Nope, what are the digits? And we're going from left to
7.
right.
4.
And,
7 and a 4.
well, we're going from you have to tell me in the right order.
4 and a 7.
Good. What happens to them? Anything?
No, you just pick them with the number that you've been changing.
Good. I just put them in front of the number I've been working on. Now, Zari, I need to put my commas. A comma goes every how many digits?
3 digits.
1, 2, 3, comma, 1. Don't have 3 digits. Don't need another comma. So that means, Zari, 4,768 rounded to the nearest 10 is
4,770.
very good. Now I know some of you may be like, oh my gosh, stop saying all these steps. I'm so bored. I know what to do. But guess what? You'll never forget the steps. The more you say it, the more likely you are to remember. So even if you're like, I've done this so many times, it's boring to me. Well, guess what's going to happen when you get to your test?
You're gonna be like,
You're going to know exactly what to do. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I remember when I was so bored listening to Miss Folis and my classmates saying these steps 175 million times. I will never forget them. I will wake up and I will be in the middle of the night and wake up from a nightmare of Miss Folis and my classmates saying, step 1, circle the digit in the place to be rounded. Step 2, underline the digit to the right. Step 3, if the underlined digit is 5 or more, add 1 to the circle digit. If the underlined digit is 4 or less, keep the circle digit the same. Step 4, all the digits after the circle digit become
Step 4.
0. Step 5, any digits before the circle digit stay the same. You're going to have nightmares about that, but guess what? You'll be ready for your math test. Carla, did you have a question?
I think my mom just saw what you told me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. Okay. Colin, very quickly.
you said step 4 twice.
Whatever. At least you won't forget it. You'll remember. Oh my gosh, remember it. You'll be in the middle of your test and be like, oh, remember that time Miss Folis said step 4 twice? Well, now I know exactly what it is. Thank you, Zari. Okay.
Next number.
Do you guys feel good about this? Do you want me to do 2 more?
No.
Yes.
No.
I understand, but I want you to
Okay. We'll compromise halfway between no, I'm ready to do independent practice and I want to do 2 more is 1 more. So we'll do 1 more together. So 4, remember your answer and then skip 1 line and then write 9,733, and we're rounding to the nearest thousand. It's 9,733, rounded to the nearest thousand. Thank you, Zari. Zadie, you got to help me with one already, right? Okay, I keep pulling your stick, and I thought that's... Ethan, you're going to help me with this last one, and then you'll be free to do your independent practice. Okay, number 4. We have 9,733. We're rounding to the nearest thousand. So, Ethan, what is step 1? Where can you find step 1? Are we looking at that one anymore? Are we looking at that one anymore, Ethan? So what? Do you need to pick it up right now, or can you wait till later? Do you need to pick it up? We're not using that one. Where are we finding our steps? Read step 1, please. Can somebody tell Ethan where we're looking? Carla, what page are we looking at? You have to say it out loud because he can't see.
We're looking at the
What page are we looking at to find our steps?
at the steps that says rounding on top.
No, we're looking at our book on page 38. We're looking at our book on page 38. Ethan, what is step 1? Loud?
Circle the digit in the place to be rounded.
Carla, mute yourself, please. Circle the digit in the place to be rounded. So in order to find our place, Ethan, name the places starting on the right. The places. Not the digits. Class, we always start with with what place on the right? Class?
Ones.
So Ethan?
Ones. Tens. Hundreds. Thousands.
So which digit are we circling?
9.
9. Ethan, what is step 2?
Underline the digit to the right of the place being rounded.
So which digit am I underlining?
The 7.
And for fun and practice, what place is that 7 in?
The hundreds.
The hundreds. Now Ethan, read all of step 3 very loud.
If the underlined digit is 4 or less, do not change the circle digit. If the underlined digit is 5 or greater, add 1 to the circle digit.
So we have a 7. Is that 4 or less, or is it 5 or more? Is it 4 or less, or 5 or more? Tell me, those are your options. 4 or less, or is it 5 or more? Is 7 4 or less? So what is it? 5 or more. So what does that mean we do? 7 is greater than 5. That means it's 5 or more. What do we do to the circle digit? We add 1. Well, 9 plus 1 is what? 10. So that 9 becomes a 10. Ooh, I'm going to have to, I hope I can get through this problem with this marker. Okay, Ethan, so we changed our 9 to a 10. What's step 4? Loud.
Replace all the digits after the circle digit with zeros.
How many digits do I have after my circle digit? 3. So how many zeros need to be at the end of my number? 3. Remember, I don't include this 0 and the 10 as one of my 3 zeros, so I need to add 1, or I need to put 1, 2, 3 zeros. Ethan, am I done? I always need to do what? Well, I need to check for step 5. Even if I'm like, oh, I don't have to do step 5, I still need to check. What is step 5? Remember, this was the one that you had to write yourself. Did you write it? Did you write it on that page, on page 38? Did you follow the directions and write step 5? Can somebody help him out? Kingston, what's step 5?
Step.
Loud?
Oh
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I've never heard your voice so loud in my life, and I love it. Don't get any quieter, just like that.
Any digit before the circle digit stay the same.
I bet that's the first time you girls at home have heard Kingston's voice since March. Awesome, Kingston. Say it one more time. I love hearing that voice. You're good. They're so excited.
That's the last.
Okay, Victoria, can you help him out? We'll give him a minute. Don't be shy. We all know you. What's step 5 again?
Any digits before the circle digit stay.
Any digit, Ethan, before the circle digit stays the same. Do I have any digits before my circle digit? So, do I need to do step 5? But I always need to check for it. So now, last thing, I need to place my commas. A comma goes every how many digits? 3. 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2. Don't need any more commas. So, excuse me, Ethan, 9,733 rounded to the nearest thousand is 10,000. Okay. Go ahead. Work on the independent practice. Girls at home, just stay on. If you have any questions, just say, Miss Fullis, I have a question, because I'm going to leave you here so that I don't mess up the camera for later. Okay, you have 21 minutes.